They thought they buried the evidence. They thought we'd never find out. But someone just leaked the smoking gun that proves Barack Obama didn't just know about the Russia hoax, he ordered it. Intelligence officials are scrambling, the media is in damage control, and John Brennan is about to learn what karma really means. We've got the memos, we've got the orders, and we've got them dead to rights. This wasn't opposition research or dirty politics. This was the former president of the United States orchestrating a coup against his successor. The deep state's worst nightmare just came true. The paper trail survived. Keep watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risk onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, and it's smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com right now to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. You can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Now, let's jump right into this because remember, we reported on this. Remember Peter Strzok? He was central to the Russiagate scam. His text messages with Lisa Page leaked out, basically revealing the whole plan between these two lovers at the FBI. Well, we reported just recently that he had deleted his entire X account, all the posts going back years and years and years. And now we are finding out just a few moments ago that he actually didn't, it wasn't just the tweets. We're finding out that all of his tweets vanished from the Internet Archive as well. Like, I don't know how you go about doing that, deleting it from the Internet Archive. You know, you and I, we can go to our X account, we can simply delete posts, right? You can go back, prune, delete, delete. But how does one delete something from the Internet Archive? If you ever want to find out, like, what an old web page looked like or find out a news story that you can't find anymore, and you know the URL, you maybe have it, it's dead, but it doesn't exist anymore, you can go to the Internet Archive and you can find it. Well, looks like he deleted it from the Internet Archive, which signals to me that he had to make some pretty big moves to make that happen. Now, we're finding out this. President Trump has again amplified Tulsi Gabbard calling to prosecute Obama's cronies over Russiagate. The boss is making himself pretty clear. Arrests must happen. It is the worst. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump. That is what Donald Trump posted just a couple days ago, and he attached this bombshell from Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again. No question in my mind.
We do not want this to ever happen in our free country. President Trump posted a few days ago, driving the point home that arrests must be made. Earlier this week, explosive revelations confirmed what we've known all along. Obama, Hillary, and their staff abused their intelligence community to launch the Russiagate hoax and sabotage Trump. It was calculated and unprecedented treason.
I mean, this screams perjury. I think James Comey also committed perjury because he's the one that knew exactly what was going on. He went to Trump Tower to talk to President Trump and knew all of this. He knew that this was not true, and now the statements are there to verify it. And look, I think these people need to be exposed for lying and continuing to go on and do this repeatedly as actually newscasters and to really, undermine the administration and outright lie about the administration. And there's sections of federal law that violate this. I remember when I was a freshman congresswoman in 2018, I actually teamed up with our now governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and others, and did a criminal referral to the attorney general at the time, pointing out many of these things. And now we have the evidence, and now we have it. And I think on Jonathan Turley's point about the statute of limitations, I think there's continually cover up of this that may actually bring the statute into play, where it's now we have more time to actually pursue these. And I think President Trump is right. The American people.
So they can't run out the clock because they continue the cover up. Tulsi Gabbard calls out the mainstream media's handling of the newly declassified documents in the Russiagate scandal, accusing them of not dealing with the truth that has been revealed.
Papers, Washington. It's been interesting to see how the mainstream media has either refused to cover this story at all. The headlines or the lack thereof of newspapers, Washington Post, New York Times, and others in the days following this release have actually been quite deafening in their lack of coverage. And it's interesting to see how when they do cover this, they don't actually cover the revelations that these intelligence reports and the evidence that we released actually conveys to the American people. They simply talk about their criticisms of it or convey Democrat politicians' criticisms of it, but none of them actually dealing with the truth that has been revealed. It's been interesting to see
Tulsi
how the
Gabbard,
mainstream...
one of President Trump's greatest picks. Just a couple hours ago, we have this from Mike Benz on Real America's Voice. Life is long and things catch back up to you. And I think John Brennan, hard to think of a more deserving candidate for experiencing the things he wished on others. Wow, listen.
What is your best guess, since you know this and know the process, of when do you think we start really moving out on that? Is it a couple of weeks? Is it before Labor Day? Is it the fall? Is it the end of the year? Is this into next year? As you're sitting here today, what do you think your best assessment is?
Well, if it's going to happen, it will have to happen somewhat quickly. The statute of limitations is a kind of ticking time bomb here in several respects. Charges like perjury or obstruction of justice are typically a 5-year statute of limitations. I understand that the way this has been pitched for criminal referral by Tulsi Gabbard to the Justice Department has been around conspiracy, in which case I think you're looking at something more like a 10-year statute of limitations. But even in that case, in 10 years, you're talking about operations that basically were 2016 to 2019 for the most part. So you're going to need to move quickly, even within that 10-year statute of limitations, in terms of starting that process. But naturally, these things are going to be very, very close hold by the Justice Department for any number of reasons, ranging from the legal to the strategic. But the fact is I do think that we'd be well as a body electorate to focus in on the specific actionable claims that could be made by the Justice Department, in particular around folks like John Brennan, who appeared to have foreknowledge according to his August 3rd handwritten notes, August 3rd, 2016, when he said that Hillary Clinton had approved a plan to frame Donald Trump for being a Russian asset. Essentially, I think it was to stir up a scandal that alleging Russian interference to favor the Trump campaign. That was known ahead of time by John Brennan, the CIA director, which is also quite curious. That plan was approved by Hillary Clinton just 5 days earlier. She was then the former Secretary of State. The CIA chief, was he spying on Hillary Clinton's campaign to know that, or did a little birdie tell him? How did he know that to even brief the president? And then he goes back and runs the intelligence assessment that effectively starts this whole ball rolling while he's running the spies in Trump's campaign. So I do think that there could be, there could be issues around, the political sensitivities, I suppose, around certain figures in that cabal. But the John Brennan one just seems so clean. And this was the same clean person who publicly accused Trump of treason and said that Trump would die in prison. Life is long and things catch back up to you. And I think John Brennan is hard to think of a more deserving candidate for experiencing the things he wished on others.
Yeah, and the chickens are coming home to roost, as they say. Here we have Victor Davis Hanson. New evidence, new information on Obama Russiagate setup surfaces. New findings suggest Barack Obama may have personally asked top intelligence officials to fabricate evidence meant to further the Trump-Russia collusion hoax during the final weeks of his presidency. This just in 24 hours ago.
Campaign. There's new evidence that Barack Obama asked intelligence and investigatory heads like John Brennan, the former CIA director, James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, and James Comey, the former FBI director, to find me evidence that you haven't found yet so that we can continue the Russian collusion hoax after it was ineffective in the campaign. You go back, we only have a few weeks left, I'm a lame duck president, and bring me the right assessments. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they're terrified that new information is coming forth that suggests to the American people what they did and how they were culpable.
Oh, yeah. It is game freaking on, baby. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. And of course, as you know, the media were co-conspirators in Obama's Russiagate treason. Never let them forget it. Watch this.
Election. Russia hacking the election to elect Trump is the end of our democracy. Votes were definitely affected. Russia hacked the election to tilt it to Mr. Trump.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
No doubt. The Russians hacked the election.
Yes. Russia hacked the election.
Fact, Russia hacked the election.
President-elect Donald Trump still not sounding convinced that Russia hacked the election.
The president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
President Trump says he still wonders if the Russians hacked the election.
If you can get him to accept that Russia hacked the election, see if you can get him to accept who won the Civil War.
If he admits it, it casts a shadow on his victory over Hillary Clinton.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Let's be clear, Russia hacked the election.
Definitively, Russia hacked the election, and Russia is doing it again now.
Election related.
Look at that. That's a beautiful montage of every moment the media continued to drive that into the minds of their viewers over and over again, doing irreparable damage to President Trump. But you know what? He rose above it all. He knew the whole time that this was going on. And now we actually have the documentation, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard as DNI. Everything's coming out. And the crooks are freaking out, like this guy here, Peter Strzok. Who will ever forget that face he made when he had to testify about his leaked text messages to his lover? FBI Russiagate hoaxer Peter Strzok deletes social media posts. And now we have this just 6 hours ago. Listen to this legal and constitutional analysis of the implication of Barack Obama in the Russia hoax. Christy Ann Hall. Listen.
Wow. Joining us now is constitutional attorney, Victory News contributor Chris Ann Hall. Chris Ann, welcome. I want you to listen to Intel Director Tulsi Gabbard, bombshell remarks when a reporter asked if former President Barack Obama was directly implicated. Here she is.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
All right, Chris Ann, Obama allegedly leading the Russian conspiracy hoax that intelligence staffers, Democrats, and the media repeated time after time after time, and there's no truth in it. All right, so here's the big question. Is anyone going to be held responsible for this, including Obama, or is he benefiting from immunity?
Yeah, what a tangled web we weave. But presidential immunity isn't a shield for political manipulation. It only applies to constitutional actions, enumerated powers, not to efforts to undermine or deceive the nation. Sorry. If it's determined that Barack Obama's actions warrant prosecution and we choose not to act, that in itself is also a crisis. So if someone with that level of power is shielded from prosecution simply because of who they are or what people fear might happen, then justice is no longer blind. It's been bought, bullied, and broken.
Oh, wow. Joining us now.
It's great to see Chris Ann. I interviewed her back in 2013 when I was on television. broadcasting to millions in South Florida. So it's great to see her again. We've got this also. President Trump, just 7 hours ago, talking about Obama orchestrating the Russia collusion hoax that attempted to bring down his election victory. Listen to this.
What they've done is so bad for this country. And it really started right at the 2016 election. And there's a difference when you know it and when you know it and it's all written down for you. I mean, it's all there. It's right there. The orders, the memos, the whole thing is right there.
Were you surprised when you saw it all laid out?
I would have thought they maybe would have thrown it out. I don't know. They handed it. They say, put this in highly classified. It was in highly classified, in areas that normally you wouldn't get to. But I guess when you put it in there, it's a file, right? And they got to it. And it's unbelievable. When you read it, it's unbelievable. A real hoax, it's a real hoax. If they would devote their time to winning elections or if they devote their time to greatness, making America great again, it would be because there's a certain genius to it, but it's also sick. I mean, they're sick. And you look at Hillary Clinton, you look at all of the terrible things with the Steele dossier, and you know it better. Nobody's covered it better than you, to be honest with you. I mean, you're sitting here so innocently talking to me like, I said it's wonderful. You know the story better than I do. But it's incredible. It's all there now. It's in writing. And Tulsi's done a great job. There were some people that really wanted Tulsi. They thought she was going to do a fantastic job. And when you look, a lot of people would not have found it. They wouldn't have found it to be politically correct to find it. Okay. It would be easier not to.
And she's tough.
And she's tough and she's smart. And she did. She went deep into the files and she found it. And what it says is just terrible. And look, this was an attempted coup. It was a failed coup. Wow. I mean, here we are, him talking as president of the United States. So you almost say, how did it happen? What they've done.
You just heard the sitting president of the United States declare that they attempted a coup on him, and it failed. And now he has the documents in hand to prove it, to indict every single one of them, going all the way to the very top, Barack Obama. The historical implications here cannot be understated. What we are witnessing right now, what we are living through. Here's President Trump discussing Hillary Clinton and the deep state actors who orchestrated the Russia hoax. Listen to this.
Very big number. Yeah. So, we had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her. And I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife of a president. She was a Secretary of State. And we could have done a very big number.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't want to be doing that. Let's, put it into the country and not the concept of putting her in jail, indicting her, all the things that you have to do. It's tough stuff. And I said, we don't want to do that. In fact, you remember I made speeches when I mentioned her name, they started to lock her up. Yeah. And I said, no, this is after we won. We just won. And I said, we have to get back to, we want to heal. And yet they did it to me.
Yeah.
So I feel differently. I mean, I'm a human being. I have my feelings too. And so I feel differently about it. Obama, what he did was terrible. What Brennan did and Clapper and Comey and all these lightweights, they're stupid people actually. But what they did, and so unnecessary. And they made it really hard. But ultimately, I don't know, they toughen you up. You either learn that you can do that. How many people could handle that?
Yeah.
I've had so many people said, how did you handle that every day? And they come up with these different scams. They're all scams, and they're still doing it. They're doing it now.
Yeah.
So, we had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her, and I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife.
President Trump back then, remember we were all chanting, lock her up, right? President Trump decided, for the good of the country, it was not healthy to go ahead and pursue Hillary Clinton. I mean, he had the evidence. I'll never forget that moment during the debate when he said, because you'd be in jail, right? Well, now it's time. It is time for payback against all of these criminals who indicted President Trump multiple times, They took shots at him. And I'm going to go as far as to say that this Russiagate hoax that began under Barack Obama extended all the way to that moment in Butler. The same actors who were controlling the deep state, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all of them, right up to Barack Obama himself, that was their final attempt to stop Donald Trump. And God saved him on that day for such a time as this. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. This is not over yet. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this changes everything. We're not talking about political games anymore. We're talking about high treason at the highest levels of government. Obama, Brennan, Clapper, Rice, they fabricated evidence to destroy a duly elected president. They weaponized our intelligence agencies against the American people, and they did it believing they'd never get caught. But the truth has a funny way of surfacing. And these documents prove what we have known all along. The Russia hoax was a criminal conspiracy orchestrated directly from Obama's Oval Office. The media was complicit, the FBI was compromised, and our republic itself was under assault from within. So here's my question for you. Should Barack Obama face criminal charges for orchestrating this coup? Simple yes or no. Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. It's linked down below. Wear your truth on your sleeve and trigger a liberal today by visiting shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and support the Next News Network.